Oh, shit. There we go. KTRX.
Profanity in the first 30 seconds. That's how you get the algorithm to crush your views. Welcome, everybody.
Radio show to KTRX.
Thanks for tuning in. It's the Technically Trek podcast, and we are live. Well, actually, if you're watching us on Sunday night at what would it be?
5:43 p.m. on the western side on the new KTRX.
And 8:43 on the left side.
FM.
Wait, no, is that the right side? I'm confused.
That would be the right side.
All right, anyways. Technically Trek, we're here. You got
Actually, you're in the middle, aren't you?
Crewman Mgyx.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
And you know, I changed the YouTube description now. It was saying special guest PVG, but you're no longer a special. I mean,
I'm special.
You're just special.
Yeah.
You're not a special guest.
Just special.
Say hello.
Hello, howdy. Nanu.
Oh, stolen right from under his nose. You got nanued with the nano.
I'm Crewman Tommy, by the way.
I gotta mute that.
Last night, just off topic real quick, PVG was my sidekick at my first DJ event of the season.
Oh, I thought you were totally going somewhere else with that, but
No. I was a pack mule.
we're on public radio. You can't be talking about those kind of adventures. Take that offline.
Yeah, so I guess though the kicker is he had a kid there, in attendance, and she didn't know he was going to be there.
She was surprised.
Oh.
So she's probably...
Give a shout out to Anna.
How long did you go?
He was there the whole
The
time.
whole time.
So
she
he was
knew. So as soon as she came up, she was like, damn.
Yeah,
She
absolutely.
probably saw his
Exactly.
car in the parking lot. And
She
was
did.
Like, oh,
She did.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I would have hid. I would have parked somewhere else, like for a minute, Then got a camera to catch that oh shit reaction, like oh shit, that's my dad.
All is good.
But, PVG is he runs like the camera streaming system and like the board, the audio and stuff at his church.
Yeah.
So he was like able to just jump right in with all the wiring and stuff, all the setup. And we were doing a brand new setup. Like I was changing my whole light show and stuff, trying something different. I thought it would be something easier on my old bones, but I'm still
Not
debating if it was easier. It was definitely, we had challenges. It wasn't easy. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a difficult setup.
It all turned out though at the end. I think everybody was happy.
And they were letting kids in earlier, 30 minutes earlier than because we had been doing this countdown the whole time, like starting 2 hours before. I'm like, okay, T-minus 2 hours. And, we're making good progress. And then an hour and a half in, thinking we still have 30 to go, kids start coming in. And I'm like,
I hate that.
Hadn't even done the sound check yet.
And it was hot.
And they had the heaters on when we showed up.
See, that right there, that you need to charge extra. Like you need to put that in the contract because that's like pulling back the curtain on Oz. You're like, you just showed everybody my magic. Everything that's set up, I had a fog machine or I had a bubble machine. Now all the kids know all this stuff and it's not a big surprise for a prom, whatever. And I haven't even done a sound check yet. I haven't even changed out of my setup gear. And then, like,
I was wearing a Waffle House t-shirt when they were all coming in their tuxes.
Right. Like, so I'm like, dude, why would you fucking do that? Bro.
Yeah, stuff like that happens. It all went well. Like, no sound check was done because by the time we had finished up like the final piece of wiring and everything, kids were rolling in, and So no sound check. But we were bumping though once they got going. The dinner music lasted way longer than I thought because they had a long time for dinner. See, so the way it works is they have this huge ballroom at this hotel.
Was this for like a prom or a wedding or what?
Prom. It was a prom for a high school, but they always do it in this hotel.
Prom?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's not normal to have dinner as part of the prom.
Right.
Yeah, even the one dance that I did go to, we went out to the Gadsden Hotel. And
right, you gotta go out and make reservations at Denny's or do whatever. Like that's up to the dude. The dude's got to handle that.
What was the one across from Denny's that had all the pies?
Oh, Village Inn.
Village Inn.
It's hard to get reservations at Denny's at this time. So
they stopped taking them after me.
Yeah.
It's actually on the menu on like the back page, bottom in small print. We do not accept reservations. No, but it went well. And I'll tell you what, we broke down though. Even though the setup took like 3 hours, we were broken down and out of there and packed up, loaded in the cars in like 50 minutes. Because it's very different when you're breaking it down. Because you don't have to be careful anymore. You're just unplugging everything, bagging the wires.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about getting shit tangled as you untangle that wire. Yeah. You're just like, throw that shit in the bag, blah, blah, blah. I'll get all that shit later on. Whatever. Don't drop the mics. Don't yank the cords unless it's somebody's shitty power cord or extension cable that ain't yours and you don't give a fuck if it rips or not.
And I was telling PBG, like with 20 minutes to go, I was like, usually it's clearing out by now. Like last year, I did the same prom, and with 15 minutes left to go, there was only like 10 people left.
Damn.
Last night, though, it was good.
It was still like the dance floor was still packed. And I thought I was like, not that I was playing shitty music in the last few minutes. I liked the music. It was good music. I wasn't sure if the kids would like it, but the crowd, see, because the energy changes. At the beginning, they want this hardcore, they just want Lil Uzi Vert, and they want,
they want like the Instagram music.
Yeah, they want all that kind of stuff. Like Travis Scott.
And at the end, they just want the shit they.
I mean, they were. What was I playing at the end? I mean, they were dancing to like Elton John. Oh, yeah. Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Yeah. I mean, they were dancing to everything.
Yeah, that's because at the end, that's when they are themselves. In the beginning, they want Instagram. Do it for the gram. Do it for TikTok. And we need to get the TikTok. And then after a while, it's like, all right, well, shit, my makeup's smearing. It's getting hot.
Everybody's kicked off their high heels.
Yeah. Now let's just party and be natural. This is what I listen to on Sunday afternoon when I ain't trying to be an Instagram hoe. Just play what you play.
Yeah.
When's the last time you played Achy Breaky Heart, by the way?
Oh, man.
I think that would be a song I would play.
You know what? I might throw that on. I got another one coming up in 2 weeks. I'll throw on Achy Breaky Heart because that one is, that's Lebanon High School. They're a little more like... They're into more country over there, I think.
Oh, so that's not going to clear the dance floor then, huh?
No, they'll like it, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, you should throw it in retro. Just say, hey, some Crewman Mgyx, give it a shout out from the Alpha Quadrant.
I'll do that.
It's going out to you. In case it's top 40.
from Starfleet headquarters.
Right.
You're like an hour away from Starfleet headquarters.
Here's a shout out.
DJ Tommy did a good job. They were hopping all night long. My daughter said she had a good time. The music was good. And
well, I appreciate that. I tried to scratch at the end without practicing for a couple years. It was bad.
Wait. You said you tried scratching at the end?
Yeah.
Bro, you have arthritis. We all have it. You can't do that.
Dude, in my head, though, the motion was in my head, but my body was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing what you're thinking.
No, man. You've got to practice. You've got
man.
to use your fingernails, whatever. You got to practice those patterns. Even right now, I'm feeling like, oh, I could probably get in a no. And I'm just moving my hands in the air.
Yeah.
And this shit don't look right. Like, that ain't the right pattern. That's just off beat. That should be a 2-click, and you barely got a half a click in there. What the fuck is going on? You cannot do scratching without warming up, man.
I had to play it off like I was just messing around. But really, I was thinking I was going to jump in there and do some like rhythmic scratching, and it was so off. Like it was like a third beat off, like not even a half beat or a quarter beat off where it might sound good.
I will give you this tip. If you're going to try that just on a whim, don't use the fader, use a transformer. Because what you think you can cut is not going to make it.
From now, it's just going to be sample pad. Sample pad. No more.
The Nickelodeon open, because that's exactly what you just did. You did the Nickelodeon.
Oh, man, you just got us copyrighted.
No, you know.
Yeah, so good. You know, it does. It's like the pressure of performing, though, because the kids are a tough crowd. They're very unpredictable. You know, it's like songs you think are going to jump. And you know what's weird is even the line dances, I thought, like even the cha-cha slide, normally they can't even fit on the dance floor. They can't, like the whole dance floor is packed and then they're dancing like in the dining area. But
you might as well have played whoa, why did I just go out of focus?
No. They were dancing to it, but like, yeah, I think it was like maybe 90% effective.
Yeah, that's like, hey, this is that throwback. Remember, they want that fucking boots on the ground.
But I think, and then like an hour later, an hour into it, I played Macarena. That seemed to pop off. Like everybody was packed in for Macarena. Even though they make this groan at first, like they make this like groan of like they're complaining about it, but then everybody's still out there dancing to it.
All right, I'm gonna see. This is why I said I would suck as a partner for this now, because I would just play what I want to hear. The simple fact is now, and I thought I was mistaken when I heard it. I thought I was like, hey, they're playing like a clip of New York Undercover or something else or some documentary. No. When Naughty by Nature is part of a big name pharmaceutical commercial and they're playing Naughty by Nature as the background music, all that shit, that the Macarena, the cha-cha slide, all of that is out. You can't play that anymore, especially for kids, because now you're just gonna be clown as the old dude.
Now, see, this is what I was telling PVG this story last night, like kind of what you're saying, where a lot of DJs online will clown other DJs for playing line dances. But here's what I say to that: these kids may only go to 1 or 2 big events a year. They maybe go to their homecoming and they go to their prom. Aside from that, they don't have big events that they go to. So they don't have opportunities to line dance. For us DJs, we're seeing line dances every weekend and we're like, oh my God, this stuff is garbage.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. Line dancing is fine. It's the line dance song. Like right now, Boots on the Ground, the Cowboy Shuffle, there's like 4 or 5. There's the one that is playing Luther Vandross.
Yeah, but that's black folk. That's black folk line dancing.
No.
I'm telling you right now. Because I watched this guy on TikTok. Philly.
Well, the cha-cha slide, Boots on the Ground, that was black folk set, because I see that in the motorcycle set. But there's like 4 or 5 other ones that are just cross-line. And even Boots on the Ground and the other slide one are crossover. It's the simple fact is, think about it. The Macarena is 30 years old. Cotton Eye Joe, 30 years old. It's 30
Cotton
years
Eye Joe
old.
You
actually,
played that, didn't you?
Yeah, Cotton Eye Joe jumped off.
But it's still a 30-year-old song. What I'm saying is some of these songs are going to have nostalgia value to them. and we're gonna think, hey, I'm gonna get the crowd going with these again. But the longer you go, the further that gap is. And like you said, you're gonna play a song where everybody's like, oh, and then they're all gonna do it. They're doing it out of nostalgia, hoping that song is gonna be over. It's literally like me and the safety dance. I will play 30 seconds of the safety dance, and then that is it. I will never play that song again because I hate that fucking song.
Well, I don't think I've played that song in public in probably 20 years.
I won't let it play. If it comes on the radio station, I'm changing the channel. If it comes on TV, I'm changing the channel. If somebody's playing it through a Bluetooth speaker,
I like the song,
I'm going to
actually.
create my EMP pulse out of a disposable camera, and I'm going to kill that speaker. I hate that song.
That's my favorite slow dance song.
Is the safety dance?
That's his knockin' boots song.
Oh my.
I mean,
Speaking of knockin' boots, I was thinking about an episode of Star Trek.
which one?
Enterprise Acquisition with the Ferengi. The first time they encounter the Ferengi.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
that's
telling
when
you,
we were talking like the first 10 minutes. There's no subtitles or anything.
now, when I'm watching this, I'm thinking this is pretty sensual when T'Pol is rubbing his lobes.
Yo.
Dude, because for a Ferengi, she might as well be stroking his man meat.
That is.
Like rubbing a Ferengi's lobes is basically the same as whacking a dude.
I wondered that myself. I had that same thought.
Because as I'm watching the episode, it's like, dude, he's about to cream. I forgot his name, but
they do it in more than one episode of Star Trek. I'm like, yo, y'all just tugging. Y'all just straight up tugging. You might as well just take a regular Enterprise, a regular human, just rub his crotch. Because you're rubbing his ears. I mean, granted, it's not as reproductive either. That's like, okay, let's take it away from the whole general parts. All right, you're just rubbing her tits. Hey, Ensign Rand, I just wanted to talk to you about those reports. And you're just in there rubbing her tits. Oh, you can't even see it on the screen because it's off screen, but...
Oh, you're rubbing someone's tits?
I'm trying to... You're just walking up and you're rubbing. They're like, hey, I'm just doing this. I just want to talk to you about those the schedule reports for the third shift. And you're rubbing on T'Pol's tits. Oh, okay, you're not grabbing a crotch. But it's the same thing for the Ferengi. You're jerking the man off on camera.
Right.
That ain't right.
Well, it is a man's world. So.
Yeah. I mean, Enterprise, because I'm trying to plow through Enterprise. I think now I'm at season 1, episode 25.
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough because I have to normally watch every episode twice. Because usually about halfway into it, I'm like, I haven't watched anything.
I think it gets better.
I think so too.
All right, honestly, I will be honest with y'all. I had to take a break this week. I watched a bunch of Star Trek shorts that came up on my YouTube and Instagram and TikToks, but I did not watch a single episode this week because I was getting
Hashtag Trek burnout.
I had to take a break. I needed to watch something because I hopped from the original series. I didn't progress any further on that. I think I'm on like episode 6 of season 2. Started watching not Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and I think I'm on episode 6 or 7 of that.
Oh, you're doing a rewatch?
Yeah, I'm rewatching. Caught a couple episodes of Enterprise. Actually, I started Enterprise over again because one of y'all were starting. So I was like, let me get caught up on that. And I think I made it to episode 2 or 3. But I remember most of Enterprise because I rewatched it not that long ago. And then I watched, ironically enough, the final 3 episodes of Voyager had come on. So I watched the final 3 episodes of Voyager. And then I tried watching Discovery, and I was just, ironically, because it was so woke, I went to sleep.
You say something's woke? Holy cow, then it must be super woke.
Because now
if you recognize it.
Because after all these, maybe I was enamored by the Star Trek aspect of it when we talked about it before.
I mean, we want to like it. We want to like Star Trek.
Yeah.
But since you admit, you and the other hosts that we had mentioned the wokeness, maybe I was just enamored by the whole. It's in the past. There got new technology. There's this Red Angel, and there's new stories, and it's Star Trek. You know, it's not that. So, and now that I go back and watch, I'm like, what the fuck? Click. Fast forward 5 seconds. Fast forward. This is another stupid relationship montage that's going to waste 10 minutes of my life.
Are you talking about the gayness with Stamets?
It was Stamets, it was the other one, it was the Trill dude and their iRobot whatever boyfriend, and then Suru and the Vulcan chick, and I'm like,
I forgot about that one.
I'm like, all of this is too dramatic, soap opera-y. I don't give a fuck, and it holds no relevance to the point of this episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
When I watched, when Discovery first came out, I thought, oh, this is awesome. This is great. Because we haven't had Star Trek in a while. Now here's a series, another Star Trek series. And then later on, you know, after first season passed, second season, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, holy cow, what happened? You know, it's just...
I mean, every series, like even going back to the OG, like I complain about McCoy. You know, I'm like, McCoy is so awful as a doctor. You know, like when he's, you know, I always think about when he's giving Kirk the exam and McCoy looks up and sees the red alert is flashing, but he doesn't tell Kirk.
He doesn't say shit.
Yeah, and he just keeps giving Kirk his physical, and I would be pissed if I was Kirk.
It's a life and death situation.
Right, we could be under attack.
He should have been reprimanded, and
there's a lot of that go, and I think I mentioned this before. Like, McCoy should have been fired. Kirk should have been fired. Everyone in the top 3 should have been fired multiple times. Kirk definitely, because he got everybody killed. He just made bad decisions. McCoy was the worst number 1 ever. Like, worst, not number 1, but doctor, and just as like a
senior,
command officer.
Yeah, like senior officer.
Senior leadership. I'm like, God damn. Like, you ain't doing shit right. You just... And outside of that, Spock... I mean, Spock was just a little...
Spock, I think, it was basically holding things together.
I think so. I think he would have burned out. But so I guess the top 2, Kirk and McCoy, should have been fired. Like, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all are doing.
Yeah.
Y'all just getting people killed. You don't know how to be a good assistant. Basically, think of it like Kirk is the manager, McCoy is his assistant manager who's off in the back doing inventory and making sure that regional doesn't come around and fire them both. But he made it worse. Assistant manager that did that. Like, the one where they go down to the planet with the kids. Like, why? There was just so much shit that he... And there was so much shit that he said to Kirk in front of everyone. And then Kirk didn't do shit to reprimand him. Like, you're going to let your boy talk to you like that? Like, in front of everybody? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, so you think about the OG. I think with TNG reminded me more of like kind of Law and Order in a way, like where everything was just like, there's not a lot of meaningless banter. You know, like with the OG, you had like meaningless shit happening. Like Yeoman Rand walking around handing everybody coffees on the bridge. You know, it's like she's serving up the Starbucks to everybody. Like, she made the coffee run and she's back. But with TNG, it was really just like, you have a line to say, then we're going to cut to you. You have a line to say. We cut back to you. You have a line to say. We cut to you. You make a face. And then we cut to you. You know, like, there's just, everything is so tight, you know, and purposeful, I guess.
So they call that, and all the actors mention that when they do these off interview things. They call it not word perfect. I think it's line perfect. They were not allowed to show outside inflections, or they weren't allowed to improvise any of the lines or any of the expressions. That had to be line perfect. And Frakes mentions that when he did the crossover with Lower Decks, and they just riffed for like 5 minutes. He's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Oh, well, we're allowed to do that on our show." He's like, "I love it. Keep going." He's like, "We couldn't do that on our show. We'd get fired. We'd get fined. You know, everybody's cussing you out. You got to be line perfect from the script. You can't make any adjustments from that." And he's like, "Man," and I think you're right. TNG was very tight.
Yeah, and that could have been that era, right? The TNG era was, I guess, what they call it, the TNG era, which is TNG, DS9, and Voyager. They were kind of similar in a sense, where they all had that, you know, kind of, I don't know how to phrase it, but you know, everything was
pointless shit going on. Like, I don't ever recall. I mean, there may have been a couple of times where I think the Riker Deanna thing was kind of like a bullshit thing, but it was so minimal, and it originally started in the very first episode. So at least they kept that continuity there.
Yeah.
And they even carried that over when Worf and Deanna were supposedly got married in the final episode. All good things. There was a little aspect of Picard and Beverly, but then it wasn't a big thing, because it also showed Picard getting involved with, I think, 3 other chicks. One of them was the female Indiana Jones. One was a honeypot trap, and I think 1 or 2 other people. But outside of that, although they did do Geordi wrong, they did Geordi wrong. But even Geordi had his somewhat faux relationship tied into the episode. It was relevant to the episode. Like when he had to, you know, figure out how to fix the engines. He needed the chick that was on the planet that originally helped build the engines. You know, and later on he meets her in real life. He was like, "Hey, you know," I think at one point he even tried to tell her, "Hey, you know, I had to create a hologram of you, you know, to get this done." And I think she cut him off, so he didn't do it. And then she freaks out and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe this is disgusting, blah, blah, blah." There was no ongoing soap opera. There was no behind the scenes 90210 Melrose Place bullshit going on behind any of the scenes of TNG.
right.
But there are in Discovery, and it takes up so much of the plot that it makes you not want to watch a sci-fi show, because it has nothing to do with the science of any of it. And I think when somebody, I honestly think they got some letters, because at one point in time, it does tie in when Stamets and the Doctor, like, oh, it's part of the microbes or whatever that we use when we do the black alerts. That tied into it, and he got trapped, whatever, in the other dimension. That loosely tied into it. But then once that was solved, they went back to the should we, shouldn't we? But I love you, but I only care about you, and you know what? Hey, shut the fuck up. Let's go on. The world is ending, and y'all worried about this right now. Right now, y'all are worried about this. Like, come on. Anyway,
You know, for the last few weeks, just being here talking to both of you, I'm thinking, man, I'm interested in watching Next Generation again. And a friend of mine that views this channel, I'm going to give out a shout out to Scott. He is doing the same thing. He's watching Next Generation.
The Chief.
Yeah, Chief Scott. And then I remember the first episode, Geordi was at helm control, and he was not yet chief of engineering. I'm thinking, wow. That's quite a leap of occupation.
Well, they had the program DEI, so they got him in.
No, they had O'Brien.
What happened?
It's a blind black guy.
They had
They
O'Brien.
needed a blind guy.
So I honestly think that some of the episodes of TNG were filmed out of order, and that is a continuity issue.
Yeah.
Because you're right, Geordi was at the helm at one point in time, and he eventually makes it in to be chief engineer. But also, O'Brien was at the helm at one point, and he became chief engineer. Now we kind of know that Geordi becomes chief engineer when O'Brien leaves, but who was chief engineer when O'Brien was at the helm?
I can't think of the guy's name.
How did that go? And ironically enough, O'Brien's character got written in. I guess the Berman and all of them liked him so much. He was a throwaway character originally.
Yeah.
He was only in there, only supposed to be there for a few episodes, and then they wrote him in as a main character. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that I think they had the same issue with TNG that they had with the original series. They filmed it with a certain episodes in mind, and I'm going to call them this because I don't know their names, the D-bags at the studio said, no, we don't want it that way. We want it a different way. Which completely fucks up and is stupid. Why would you let somebody who is not a fan of the show dictate the continuity of the show? Like that just don't make no sense to me.
It happens in a lot of like franchise films and series where someone comes in and they just try to make a quick I don't know what you call it. They just go in there and think they're doing something cool without knowing.
Is it that they're trying to just show and assert their power?
Yeah.
That they can do this? It's like, we're going to take episode 4. We're going to move that to episode 27. We're going to move the finale to episode 3. And then, we're going to rearrange and work out what we already got shot.
Well, I'm sure back then they had to send tapes. So maybe they just sent the tapes out of order. Some idiot at Paramount or whoever. What would that have been on? Like, what did that air on? CBS?
CBS. Desilu.
Yeah. So, they just... Somebody just mixed up the tapes.
Well,
I'm a doctor, not a mechanic.
The OG.
Starfleet Academy. There's not a lot of news. Like, there's not a lot going on with Star Trek right now. Until Strange New Worlds comes out, then I think we'll have some like reaction stuff going on. But until then, we just get these little tidbits of information on different Trek sites. So this was, and I guess there's this thing called Trek Talks 4. It's the Hollywood Food Coalition has a telethon. It's an all-day Star Trek telethon that benefits the Hollywood Food Coalition. So there was a little interaction on a panel between Janeway and EMH, I call them. And because EMH is going to be on Starfleet Academy. So Janeway was, pointing out the fact that he's going to be 900 years old on Starfleet Academy. Because, the EMH didn't go through the time jump, that Discovery did. So he's actually got 900 years of experience, I guess. Unless he was just shut down most of the time.
Wait. What are you talking about?
EMH.
Yeah, he came home with Voyager.
Right. So he's actually 900 years old in Starfleet Academy.
Okay. Well, I mean, sure. Depends on which one.
Which
I guess all of
EMH?
them.
I think.
I mean, yeah, because there's a bunch of them. He's been backed up on so many things.
Mm-hmm.
He's backed up and stuck in a whole nother. There's at least 2 versions of him still in the Delta Quadrant.
He called himself the Yoda because Yoda was 900. He called himself the Yoda of Star Trek. For those of you who don't know who Yoda is, he's from Star Wars.
Is that new? Star
Wars?
Wars?
A bit presumptuous.
Star Wars is a different space fantasy show.
Oh, it's fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
That's more of the if you're looking for like a Dallas or
Magic.
Knots Landing,
It's like magic.
and stars. That's what it would be.
Emotional damage.
Although no, I'm not gonna say. Would you watch a drama set in space, like literally like a back in the day, like Dallas, Knots Landing, Falcon Crest, General Hospital type soap opera? Would you watch that if it was sci-fi and set in space?
We're about to. It's going to be called Starfleet Academy. Because I'm pretty sure Starfleet Academy is going to be something like that.
Dude, I have a feeling Starfleet Academy is going to be more of a 90210
Yeah.
than those, and that's at least a little bit more modern. Either that, or it's going to be like a Saved by the Bell.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Although I think if they did it lower deck style, it definitely would be
Saved by the Red
Bell.
Alert. That's what they should call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's-
more
How is
EMH.
Janeway still alive then?
No, she's not. She's not going to be in Starfleet
Oh.
Academy.
Okay, you're right.
But
Okay,
now she
my
does. She
bad.
has her own hologram though, right? From Prodigy.
She does.
So that
Yeah,
could
so-
survive, I guess. And now here's the okay. Now the EMH made a controversial point though. He says Voyager is the most important series of the TNG DS9 Voyager era.
They experienced a lot.
But to say
gonna
it's the
kinda
most
say-
important.
I'm gonna go ahead and kind of say yes on this.
Is that
I mean, so
because
think of it this
the
way.
Borg, like to learn how to defeat the Borg?
Because it went from the Delta Quadrant all the way to the Alpha Quadrant, and it recorded sensor readings and everything as basically as a black box, all the way from the Delta Quadrant back to the Alpha Quadrant, including species 8472, the Breen, the Hirogen, as well as the Borg transwarp conduits. So yeah, it has some of the most important information that Starfleet could have. And for possible...
The only thing I'll
Enemies
give you
in the
there
future?
is the destruction of the transwarp conduit. That I see value in the destruction of the transwarp conduit. I don't see 8472. I don't see any of those other species ever coming to the Alpha Quadrant being a threat.
Why?
Because I don't think they would ever come to the Alpha Quadrant.
They don't have to. There's subspace. So subspace runs all the way through all the quadrants. So somebody is going to do the same thing that the board did and tap into that subspace reality, because Discovery kind of already did. That was when the Doctor got trapped in that whole mid-level, mid-space thing.
Okay. So do you think
So
that's more
somebody's already gonna
important?
do that.
Do you think that's more important than what Cisco achieved in the Dominion War?
Yes.
So you think what Janeway did in the Delta Quadrant was more important than being able to defeat the founders?
I did not say Janeway. I said Voyager. I did not say Janeway.
You're gonna hurt
Voyager.
people's feelings now.
Voyager as a whole, as a group, it was a group effort. Like Shaq, everybody came together, pass the ball around.
All right. Well, tell me this though: who are you giving credit to then on the Voyager crew? Who deserves?
Mainly the Doctor, Seven,
That's the only one I could think of. 7 of 9.
Yeah.
Like
and the
you
Doctor.
gotta
you
get
gotta
rid
give
of the whole
Doctor
crew
credit.
except for 7 of 9, and then you got a strong crew.
No, you got Tom Paris and Harry Kim. They got the Delta Flyer up to past warp 10. So yeah, they get credit for that. That's definitely a thing. So I mean, Janeway did the politics, so she has information on how to deal with these other people when the Starfleet starts venturing back out.
What, like
So
trying
she
to
has-
trying to make friends with 8472? Is that the politics you're talking about?
No, I mean, she could tap into that, but like, hey, we dealt with you before. We helped you.
That
kill the
failed.
Borg. But regardless of it, there's other entities and species that she's interacted with, like the Homogen or Emogen.
You said it right the first time. You said Hirogen earlier.
Hirogen.
And then you call them the hemogens.
I'm probably thinking of multiple species, but I think they as a whole did a lot more.
I'm retarded?
For the universe than Cisco did. Cisco was one of the most.
What?
His acting was not that great. Like,
why are you criticizing his acting?
Because there's a few episodes where
because he had the
really
same emotion
acting.
in every scene.
Yes. Jake, I need you to listen to
Get me warp power. Get those
You ain't
weapons
going
online.
There's no warp. He's not going anywhere. like I'm just saying he look, Avery Brooks, you had some great scenes where you showed great emotion. Then you had some shitty scenes with shitty writing where you still showed great emotion, which made the scene worse. Like literally your range of emotion and everything else just amplified the badness of the scene. Like if you had played that scene without all that emotion, it would have been better.
How dare you?
Hey, sing the song the way I wrote it, anime.
So you're actually on board with EMH saying Voyager may have been the most important series of the era.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, your argument is strong. What do you think, PVG?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's
I got something for you then. You're in disagreement. You think DS9?
No, I
Cisco?
definitely don't think DS9. I mean, DS9 brought us things like the Defiant.
Ain't shit.
It brought us. I mean, the Changelings, though they do
Ain't
become
shit.
a formidable opponent. Obviously, in the Picard series.
Ain't shit. Look, Voyager brought back a blade of armor. All right, let's put it piece by piece.
No, they didn't.
Right.
No, they
Hold on.
didn't.
You have
Janeway brought that back from the future. See,
the
now
Defiant.
now you're confusing shit.
Aha, I'm not confusing shit. It still came.
It's from the
Voyager.
Defiant.
It's not. The Defiant doesn't have a blade of armor. It's from the future, remember?
Future Defiant.
And that future is now destroyed once the original Voyager came back. But the technology is still there. So it came from Voyager. So Voyager brought back a blade of armor.
I'm lost.
Transphasic.
He just watched the final episode. That's why it's fresh in his mind.
They also brought back the transphasic torpedoes and shit.
From the future.
Okay.
But you're right though.
Voyager.
That's from the series. It is from the series.
From Voyager.
Yeah,
and it's from Janeway.
And that was, I think, one of the keys to defeating the Borg is the blade of armor and the transphasic torpedoes.
Now, let's not forget the bioengineered disease that the Doctor came up with. That didn't come from the future. That came from the Doctor when they found that Borg planet with all the rejected bots and whatnot. And then they found the one where the family bred Icheb specifically to infect the Borg.
Yeah.
So Voyager brought back that as well. And you bring up the changelings, okay. Voyager brought back knowledge of species 8472, the Homogen. What was the other one that looked like the Hirogen? What was the ones that had the not the Cardassians, the started with a K, Kazon.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the progenitor.
Right.
As well as
but progenitor, no, that's from TNG. The progenitor, isn't that from TNG?
I think I was gonna do a deep dive on it because I think
All
they
right,
tapped
do a
in
deep dive.
both. Well, let's take that even out. Let's take the progenitors out because we're not sure.
Yeah.
But let's throw in the caretaker and the caretaker species. So,
I had a theory that the caretaker,
or Q.
that the caretaker may have been referenced in the OG. I'll have to go back and find the episode, but they do call somebody a caretaker, but they don't call them the caretaker.
They were like in a library, and there's a bunch of caretakers. They were all clone looking.
Yeah. So I need to go back and look that up. Because that could have been a continuation.
Or where they take over Sulu and Chekhov. And
I don't
in
remember.
like a weird castle with like.
That could have been.
All right, I'll have to go.
No, with
when you find out, let me know.
Trelane was a Q. Trelane had to be a Q. I think there was a bunch of Q. I think the OG had a bunch of Qs.
And they just didn't know what they were. They just different Qs had different interests in
like
humanity.
the Greek god dude. I think he was a Q. Charlie X. No, well, Charlie X. No, he was from those aliens.
Which were Qs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the OG was obsessed with super beings. That was one thing I noticed. Like every other episode was about a super being. What about those people that convinced the Klingons and the Federation to stop fighting, and it made none of their weapons work across the whole galaxy? That had to be, that's Q level power right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this is why I agree with this, and I think it's pretty cool that they did that, because it kind of still ties in. You lost your monitor, by the way, unless it's restarting.
Oh,
nope,
it's looping. Yeah, it's looping.
I think it ties into the aspect of, and so I have this theory that it's going to take either a physical invasion of the United States to bring everyone together, or a global scale natural disaster like another massive pandemic, or
that didn't bring anybody together.
I remember.
And because of that, that's why I think Star Trek was, and why they say, Star Trek had a whole lot of influence and social change. One of the biggest things of that show, and like you just said, all of these godlike enemies, everyone would come together, even the Klingons, to fight this godlike power. Like, hey, you do know that there's something out there that's bigger than all of us, yet you're squabbling over this pettiness down here. Here, let me go ahead and throw an Adonis god on top of it and then see how you guys figure it out.
Well, and on top of that, I think with the OG, they liked, I think, how do I say this nicely? They looked for ways to sexualize the show.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at that, So they, like having the Greek god, and, he was like some super buff dude, all kinds of tan and Italian looking. But then that gave them the reason to put what's her name, in like a belly dancer outfit.
I mean, just the crew alone, the female crew on the Enterprise are all wearing short skirts.
They're all walking around with short skirts on. Like even just when Kirk and McCoy are walking down the hall talking, there will be at least 10 crewmen, girls, yeomen or whatever, in short skirts walking around.
How can you get your job done?
And the funny thing is, Kirk acknowledges it. He's like watching them walk by, looking at their asses.
Gumbo.
Yeah, and that I'm not mad at that. That's real. That's just reality. That's back before Me Too. Like you could look at a girl's ass and it was okay.
You know what? I think part of that is also, I think they realized they were shooting in 4:3 and 480p. You can't see shit, so they're like, "Hey,
360p."
Let's make it look.
Actually,
let's probably 360. Let's make it look like they just got on short skirts and nothing else." And I feel bad about this. I've been on it's kind of like a Where's Waldo. Every time there is a explosion or something, the first thing I'm looking for is what female is upskirted, and I have found that they're all wearing boxer like brief shorts, like bloomers basically, underneath it, which then tells me that was intentional. that was intentional not to show.
Everything's
make it look like
actually
it's-
that's probably more of the focus of the scene than the actual explosion. Is how can we find a way to show up them skirts?
I wonder how the female actors at that time thought about it, you know?
I mean,
So, ironically enough, your thought about that is what led me to start watching Mad Men.
okay.
I just started that the other day. I was like, I've heard about this series. I've never watched it. I'm probably like 4 episodes in, but yeah.
Well, Don Draper is just going to bang whatever he wants to bang.
I was like, how is this? And I could see how Suits followed suit with that. I was like, how is it people had this thought? Like, that was okay with them, and they were okay
Incoming
with it.
transmission.
Are you talking thought THOT or THOUGHT?
The second.
All right.
So, I was
What up,
like,
crewman?
wow.
Crewman Sherry in the chat. Hello there.
Hello, Crewman Cherry.
Howdy.
Welcome. And you were late to the meeting.
No,
We'll
she's
be
been
reprimanded.
here. She just was waiting to jump in.
So, well, I would ask. Let's ask Crewman Cherry, from the female perspective. How do you think the actresses felt by that? Do you think they're like, we don't care because we're getting paid and we're on this big series that's at least for 27 episodes, and that's just a guaranteed paycheck? Or do you think they felt demeaned and, I don't know, what's the other word?
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag misogynistic?
Just got demonetized. Oh,
I don't know.
while
I would
Crewman
be
Sherry
interested
is putting together thoughts. Oh, she's got a thought. They did not care to some degree, and they welcome the attention. There you go. Shout out Crewman Sherry.
It's a good answer.
All right, we're going to play a new game. We're going to try this out. It's called Guess the Star Trek Character. I tried to find old pictures of people from Star Trek. So let's see how this works out. Oh, shit. Wrong button.
All right, guys, these AI generated.
This is going to be easy.
Oh,
Easy
yeah.
one.
Oh, that's a Worf.
Yeah, see?
Fascinating.
Did you know that Worf, or Michael Dorn, also played, he was one of the cops on Chips?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I mainly watched Chips for the opening theme, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
No way. I like chips. All right, let's try another one.
Oh, I know.
Ball.
Yeah.
No.
Ironically, the fucked up part is I could tell by the
It's not.
ears.
No, it's not T'Pol. This person is 64 right now. Now in that
Oh.
picture, she's only like 20, but this picture is like 40 years old.
Well, she looks very much like T'Pol.
Yeah.
Let's give you another clue.
Wait, on
Oh, Admiral, I can't think of her name, on Discovery.
Admiral Cornwell.
Admiral wanted to get that D.
Well, she did get that
That's what
Lorca
I'm
D.
saying.
She got that Lorca D.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, as a younger version, I mean, she very much looks like T'Pol.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, she did her thing back then. Ooh.
I want to say Shenzon, but I know that's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Or
Picard?
Tom, that could be Picard.
Holy cow.
Oh yeah, that's Picard.
JLP.
Oh, so I was right.
Wow.
It's a younger Shenzon when he had hair.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think that was the only 3 I did. And on the note of this is so what I did here is this trivia. I asked ChatGPT to make me some trivia questions about other gigs that Star Trek actors are part of. So this will be other characters they played in other shows and movies. So here we go. Let's try it out. Who played a senior officer in the military drama JAG out of these 3 guys?
Jeffrey Combs.
I'm going to say C. Huh.
Oh. Hold on. What? I can't read what the.
You know what I should have did is had to add a cheat. I should have told ChatGPT to add the character name that they played in Star Trek to the choice. Who from Star Trek played a priest in American Horror Story?
B.
A. Comb.
I have no idea who NMR.
Chief O'Brien, you think? No, James Frayne.
Oh
B.
shit! I was right.
He was Sarek in Discovery. Who guest starred in The West Wing as a Republican campaign advisor?
Renee.
Marina Sirtis. Wow, Deanna Troy. I'm seeing some of these for the first time because I just I try to be surprised too because I just copy into a spreadsheet and then I just run it right into the PowerPoint. Who starred as a serial killer in the series Millennium?
B.
That seems like though something Brent Spiner would do, but let's see. Oh, snap.
Yeah. He got it right.
Which Star Trek actor appeared as a flight engineer in The Right Stuff? Man, that's a long time ago. 1983. LeVar Burton was probably a little kid back then.
I'm gonna go with Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
Scott Bakula. He was a NASA figure, whatever that means. Who appeared in Man from U.N.C.L.E., the reboot?
C. Alice. Yep.
Okay.
I didn't watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Me neither, but I might need to now if she's in it.
Yeah.
Who from Star Trek had a role in My So-Called Life? What is My So-Called Life? That's not ringing a bell.
C.
Yeah.
Only because I think every time I think of him, I think of the principal from Buffy.
Ro Lauren was the one. She was Angela's mother.
I never watched My So-Called Life, so no clue.
Who was the antagonist in Stargate Atlantis? You got to know this. This is you.
The antagonist.
That means the bad guy.
Oh, B.
Connor Trenier, known for playing Trip Tucker. Which Star Trek actor played a scientist in the film Outbreak?
Dwight Schultz?
C. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Dwight Schultz. He's from The Office, ain't he?
I don't know, either that or B.
Yeah, he's from the
Oh,
18.
Crusher.
I don't remember her in that movie.
But that movie is from like 1980.
I know, it's with Dustin Hoffman and Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding Jr. It's a good movie, I liked it.
Yeah. Warehouse 13.
Fuck. See, you need to put pictures.
Yeah, and
The only
I
one
need to
know
at
is
least put
Jerry
their
Ryan.
I need to at least put their Star Trek character.
A. Huh.
I think it's
Jerry
Jerry Ryan.
Ryan.
That's the only one I remember.
7 of
Everybody else,
9.
they're tied in together anyway. With
Who had a role in the horror movie The Others? That's not ringing a bell with me.
Zoe.
Probably she. Oh, no. Now Zoe's probably too big for that kind of stuff now. Fionnuala? Who was she? Anina Tandro on DS9? I don't know who that is.
Dabo Girl.
Oh, Dabo Girl.
I think. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I just-
Which Star Trek actor appeared in Band of Brothers? I don't think it's Jonathan Frakes.
I don't know, but I started watching Band of Brothers again as well. So
James Cromwell. Zephyrin Cochran. I definitely got to, next time I do something like this, I'll put their character names. Who was in
Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
Ricardo. Yep.
Oh, I totally took a swing in that one. Just I didn't. Tony Todd. I was like, probably.
Who had a recurring role on Veronica Mars?
No clue.
Let's go with Avery Brooks. She's the only guy I know.
Tam Elbrin in TNG. Who's Tam Elbrin? Played Major Clemens. Okay. Which Star Trek actor appeared in as a U.S. president in National Treasure Book of Secrets?
B.
Yeah, it can't be Patrick. Patrick Stewart can't be. Captain Pike in the Kelvin timeline. I'm trying to remember who he is now. Captain Pike. Oh, okay, the older guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the one finds him in the bar.
I mean, wasn't he in like?
Yeah,
He's in all kinds of stuff actually. Wasn't he like a father in like Seventh Heaven or something? I don't know who I'm thinking of. Okay. Who is the holographic teacher in the Orville? Let's see. It's got to be Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
I think it's Roxanne Dawson. Oh, guess not.
He played Wei Yun and Brunt. He played 2 characters, I guess. Makeup, right? Which actor from Star Trek had a guest role in The X-Files?
Oh, C.
Let's go with Kate Mulgrew.
Nope, C. Yep.
Who's Mitch? Oh, Captain Trask? Who's Captain Trask? I guess I haven't gotten that far yet. Which Star Trek actor starred as a cyborg in Johnny Mnemonic?
Well, let's go with
Ice-T.
Dina Myers.
Yeah, C. Dina.
Henry Darrow, who played Kolopak on Voyager. Okay. I don't remember Kolopak. Who played a villain in Time Cop? It's got to be an older person.
Say A.
Robert Beltran.
Mark
He looks like an older
Alamo.
person. He's got an older person.
Oh, it's it was Gul Dukat.
Oh.
Who had a guest role on The Practice as a DA?
Denise Crosby.
Yep.
Tasha Yar.
I'm literally just picking the ones that I know are on Star Trek.
Which actor played a military figure in The Day After?
John.
John
Q?
Delancey.
You going with Q?
Yeah.
That's it. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Grady. Who had a part in the family comedy Cheaper by the Dozen? That's not ringing a bell. I mean, the movie is, because that's got Tom Welling.
Paul McGillen.
Okay. Ethan Phillips. Neelix. He was a neighbor. Who portrayed a judge on Harry's Law? I'm going to...
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
What about Janeway? She played a conservative judge. Who had a recurring role on Crossing Jordan?
B.
I don't think it's Jonathan Frakes. You're gonna
I think
go
it's
B.
C.
B or C? Rox, B is right. Balana Torres. I didn't know she was in anything else.
I don't ever remember seeing her, and now I got to go back and rewatch it.
Yep. Which Star Trek actor played a KGB agent in The Americans? A a Russian agent. So who's a Russian agent?
Michael
Michael
Dorn.
Chekhov. And by the way, Americans is a really good show if you've never watched The Americans. I think it was on like the USA Network or something.
Dominic Keating.
Fringe. Fringe was good too.
I just saw him.
Leonard Nimoy. Wow, I didn't know he was in Fringe. Okay. Who played a school administrator in Glee?
How many questions are there?
I say C.
This is the last one. Michelle Hurd. Rafi and Picard. That rings a bell. Oh, wait, this is the last one. Who portrayed a future leader in Continuum?
Nicole DeBeer.
Alice Kriege. The Borg Queen. I think she recently passed away.
Which one? There's been 3 of them. And they all look alike. With all
the one whose name is Alice Kriege. Kriege. Who from Star Trek had a key role in Homicide?
C.
Reed Diamond, who played Dolam. Have I gotten to him yet? Season 1? Who had a role in the romantic film The Time Traveler's Wife?
E.
Barry Jenner. Admiral Ross. End transmission.
Thank God. We need to put a limit. We need to put a limit on you. How many of these questions per segment?
We got the wide shot going. Now you can see our lower halves.
We definitely could have used more of the first series of questions and less of the second series.
Oh, for sure. Like more of the Guess Who's?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, the Guess Who's were good, but again, those are hard to come up with because a lot of Star Trek actors like your day-to-day Star Trek actors they're not in a lot of other stuff, or all they've ever done is Star Trek. So their pictures, every picture that I can find online for certain people, they're in a Star Trek outfit, you know.
They're stereotyped.
Yeah.
Typecast.
Yep. So yeah, some of the Star Trek people are hard to find in other like younger roles where you wouldn't recognize them, because that's really the only way it works.
Now I'm thinking about it, it's also plus a lot of these are their first or breakout roles.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, or they're done around the same time. So like if you were to show a picture of Tilly, she's gonna look like Tilly. There's like no vast age difference.
Yeah.
So you would be stuck with,
I mean, either like thin Tilly or big Tilly. You know, that's really it.
you would be stuck with Enterprise, maybe
Like
TNG and the original series.
Mirror Tilly and, you know, like 616 Tilly. I don't know what else to call it.
She was on, or the Resident Tilly. There you go. That's
yeah.
the one. That's the recent one she was in as the Resident, which is actually a really good, was surprisingly a funny series. Because it starred Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black. Which
she was also in John Wick.
Was she?
Like John Wick 3, I think. She's like one of the assassins that kind of like one of the final assassins that he kills in John Wick 3, I think.
Tilly was?
Not Tilly, no. Orange Is the New Black girl.
I thought you were
Crazy Eyes.
Tilly.
Oh, I was like, I do not remember seeing Tilly. And I cannot see Tilly as an assassin.
Yeah.
No, unless she's just going to be crying.
Unless she's going to be poisoning people with the cakes or whatever she bakes.
You know,
or whatever.
I've been watching a lot of Discovery. You know, earlier in the week, I started with Enterprise. Like, I was trying to watch some Enterprise, so I might have watched 3. I mean, I'm proud of myself. I might have watched 3 episodes of Enterprise. And then after that, I just flipped over to Discovery, because since I've already recently watched Discovery in the last few years, I can just have the episodes playing and not have to always just be glued to it. Yeah. With Enterprise, I got to be glued to it because I don't know what's happening. But with Discovery, I don't have to be glued to it. But I've been going through the phase where, you know, Tilly got pulled into the Mycenial network by her friend May, or whatever her, you know, the girl that appeared as May that pulled her in.
Talking about.
Yeah, and that's just the whole plot. That whole arc is terrible. And then they end up when Tilly gets pulled in, they go in to rescue her, and then they find
The
Dr. Culbert or whatever his name is, and they bring him out, and he's just weird. He's different. And I don't know, this whole arc, if they could get rid of these little side plots, I think it would be strong enough with just the Red Angel plot going.
But see, and that's what I was talking about. That plot point, they should have focused more on the Mycenial network than the fact that he's all weird. And if you're going to say he's all weird, it's because he's all weird because they're actually in the mirror universe or in the subspace universe where species 8472 reigns. Like, that's the kind of sci-fi stuff that should have taken place. But instead, they're focusing on Tilly's subconscious of her friend dying, and obviously a guy that got trapped in there, and now he just doesn't act right because he has PTSD.
See, when I see something like that, what I think of is they killed the doctor too nonchalantly. And the fans or someone at the network said, "Why'd you kill off the doctor? I liked him." And they're like, "Well, shit, let's find a way to bring him back." You know? And so then they have to have some cockamamie way to bring him back to life.
He's stuck in the Mycenial network, and then we're going to bring back a...
Well, at the moment that Tyler cracked your neck, Stamets looked at you.
Right. That part didn't... Yeah. There were so many other ways that they could have taken that. and not made it as woke as it is.
Yeah.
Which would have translated into, I think, a much better episode. And I think when I watched it for the first time, I didn't care because when it came out, it was new Star Trek.
Yeah, and you don't
overwhelmed with
nitpick.
it's new Star Trek.
Yeah, because it's kind of like when you're watching it for the first time, especially after not having a Star Trek for years, like 20 years, right? Because when did Voyager end? Because was it Enterprise? Enterprise would have been the last thing until Discovery.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that episode is like, oh, is this where we're going to learn about the mirror universe and how it got started?
Yeah.
Or is this a subspace reality where species 8472 lives? Or is this like how the transwarp all of those things were going through my mind when I watched it. And then I continued watching an episode hoping that they're going to tap into that. And then it's like, oh no, we just brought the doctor back and he's got PTSD and he doesn't want to live with Paul anymore. And Tilly's over there crying because she realized that her dead friend is actually dead. And it's like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did I just watch all this? I literally so the funny thing is, when this episode came on, me, Tone, and Photo would do Sci-Fi Sundays at Tone's house. And I remember thinking, like, if it's going to be a shitty episode, we could just go ride our bikes. Literally like little kids. Like, the girls would come in like, what are you guys doing? We're about to go ride bikes. We're going to watch Star Trek first. Kind of like a throwback to Saturday afternoon or Saturday mornings. And I was joking, like, motherfuckers, if y'all ain't going to watch this, I'm just going to go home and watch it. And they would always clown me about that. At the end of that episode, I was like, man, we could have been riding fucking bikes. This is some bullshit. Because they didn't I said, maybe next week they'll tap back into it. Because I remember they brought the tardigrade back in, and it was fucking huge. Instead of like a tiny little tardigrade. I was like, well, maybe they'll tap into that and get more into the science.
I mean,
they never do.
I'm watching the... So I just finished an episode of Discovery where they take over I guess they have like an android, half android or cyborg on the crew.
Oh, on the bridge, yeah.
The possibility if everyone else is taken.
But they took over her mind. Section 31 took over her mind so that she would act as like a spy for them and retrieve data or whatever.
Tapped into their optical network, just like Q did with Geordi.
Yeah,
the Ferengi did.
Yeah. But that to me is also kind of like because that character had no airtime before then. And then all of a sudden the episode starts where she's like replaying back memories and Tilly's like her BFF. And Tilly's like, remember not to delete any memories of me. And then when it comes to the point where she's about to transmit all this data to control, the Section 31 AI or whatever it is, Tilly says, let me talk to her, and says, I'm your BFF. You're such a good person. You're not a bad person. And then what does she do? Airlock herself? Like she ejects herself through the airlock. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my goodness. Like what kind of shit is this where, you're just
Why didn't you just get an external thumb drive and plug in and download your memories? Like I didn't, again, one of those episodes where I was like, I got the concept of it. You're like, you're limited to your memory space, but you could have external drives downgrade you're about to literally upload your memories of this stuff to section or to control.
They got Wi-Fi too, Bluetooth.
Why
that shit.
don't you download your memories externally and then make space and then re-upload them? The stuff that you want to remember or keep. Or plug in and tap into that.
The fact that making space for something is even a concern, like, because nowadays we even think about like, when is storage even a concern in today's world? Like
the Xbox.
Well, that's old.
The Xbox. That's a real thing. If you got an Xbox and you play Call of Duty and what other game, storage.
Which map do you want to delete?
So, ironically enough, played with Infinity 2 nights ago, and he's talking about doing a stream and whatnot. He loads up Ninja, hop in the room, and he's showing the screen. I'm like, he's like, what? What do you mean I gotta reinstall this to play? I was like, you haven't played in a minute, and it's automatically gonna delete the campaign or multiplayer if you haven't played to make room. He's like, this is bullshit. I was like, delete some of that other shit. I was like, space is real. And I thought about this episode.
Oh, we got a first break of the night.
Yeah.
First break of the night.
But
Drink,
why?
go to see Dr. Lazardo.
Captain Lazard.
Go to 10 forward.
It's he said Lazardo. You got the
No, I'm
Italian
good.
Lazardo.
I gotta chill. I gotta chill tonight because I gotta get up at like 4:30.
But yeah, I'm like, if you have all the space for control, why don't you add that space? First of all, why don't they add more space to you?
Yeah.
Like, well, you could literally wear an external drive, just pop it on your wrist and make it an accessory. I was like, that part I didn't get at all. And I think it was because she kind of was the possibility. Everybody's like, who are the hot ones from Discovery? And they ranked them down the line. And like, maybe she ranked a little bit higher than Tilly for some. Like, hey,
Who was there though? There was only. See, and now Tilly's up.
Vernon. Hold on, let me pull up
Burnham. Burnham is in the list.
Hold on.
She's
What
in the
is
list of
Discovery?
hot Discovery talent.
Discovery.
Burnham. I'm not like the hair's too short for me.
It was in the beginning. All right, so you had Burnham, Tilly,
End of list.
Johan Owus.
You're talking about the helm?
Yeah. You then had Blue Del Barrio, which was Adira. Michelle Yeoh obviously is Giorgio.
Is she like 70?
Rachel Enchin, which is Nyan, which I think is the robot chick.
Okay.
No, that wasn't. She's somebody else. Oh, she was the chick that had the little dimple things on her face.
You're talking about the one that was the Bajoran?
No, she wasn't Bajoran.
The Dax.
She had the little thing on Discovery. She was actually on Strange New Worlds, and then she stayed on Discovery. But she had to have
the
on her
things
cheeks
to help her breathe. Yeah, the augments.
She had her. You had Mary Cello, which is Latrell or Lorel. Oh no, she was.
I just didn't find that Discovery had a lot of eye candy.
That's why I said if you put the robot chick above Tilly or above Blue DeBari, I mean, she was up there. I'm like, oh, well, how the fuck you gonna have a robot outrank these? Think of the woke crowd. A robot, an android, is
I
gonna
identify
outrank
as a robot.
a living being. People are saying, "Yo, I'd rather stick my dick in a toaster than with someone who I don't know what is."
But she wasn't 100%.
I know at least that is a toaster.
She was a cyborg, I think.
Just like on.
Say,
Did you just say you'll put your dick in a toaster?
Over some of these other people? Yes.
Is the toaster plugged in?
I mean, no, it's got a rechargeable battery. Just
it's like a M18. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, if that's the response they got, they're gonna be like, oh well, shit.
TNG did not have any eye candy either, though.
TNG?
Yeah. Who are you gonna go with?
Hold on, TNG cast.
Deanna Troy, Yar,
Images.
Maybe Crusher.
Hold on.
Crusher,
Redhead.
maybe pre-TNG.
All right. Yeah, Deanna Troy. Yeah, Deanna.
I mean, that was your main eye candy, Deanna Troy.
You had
in her non-Jellicoe approved bodysuit.
You had Beverly Crusher for the older gents from the OG series.
There you go.
She was there for that.
None of us here are older gents.
You had Tasha Yar.
Tasha Yar, okay. Short hair.
You had Whoopi Goldberg for the older African American gent.
Come on.
All right, let's get. All right, so then,
Whoopi Goldberg. You cannot. There's no way to sexualize Whoopi Goldberg. You cannot sexualize Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Most illogical.
So even without that, you had Ro Laren.
Oh, Ro. Yeah, she was good.
Well, yeah, but was she she wasn't a regular though.
She was for a little bit.
Yeah.
She was for a little bit. You had Ashley Judd.
In one episode.
Regardless, she was on there. You had Famke Janssen, which she's mainly known for a totally different role. Rosalind Chow, which is Kimiko or Keiko.
Keiko O'Brien's wife?
Yes. Michelle Phillips, which was Janice Manheim.
My friend is obviously Chinese. Caught his head in a mechanical rice picker.
I think that was pretty much it for everything else listed here is all guest spots. Like they had Terry Hatcher and Kirsten Durst and
all right.
Kirsten was in there?
Regulars. That was kind of regulars. Voyager.
Voyager didn't have no talent, but I mean, at the time though, you had 7 of 9 and Balana.
All right, so for Voyager, you had Kate Mulgrew.
For the older gents.
No, back then she was way younger. Way younger.
Still, I'm
Roxanna
not changing.
Didn't do nothing for me.
You had Balana. You had 7.
There you go.
You had Cass.
Cass, yeah. Cass started good, but then
this is gonna sound horrible. Horrible.
It already sounds horrible.
But it's think of it like Boy Meets World. And
you're gonna put Harry Kim on the list?
Naomi Wildman. Because she looks good now. Seska. And
who's Seska?
Renee Borg. I don't know who that is.
That doesn't ring a bell.
I don't know. Seska was she had a thing with Chakotay.
Yeah, she was
okay. So as it stands now, Discovery's at the bottom of the list as far as eye candy goes.
They had a couple. I mean, they had more than Voyager. So definitely, although if you give it points ranking, 7 kind of holds the bar.
Yeah,
but that's only one person. You have no other options. That's one person. You can't have one person hold the entire show. And then was SNW, Strange New Worlds. Hopefully that Google will pull. What
if we include movies now in the mix?
Fuck that. We're still damn, because I see a banging picture, and it's just of her face.
Of who?
Miss Chapel. Banging. I personally think it's banging.
Strange New Worlds.
I want to. I forgot how to show this.
I mean, you can't show it because we're not looking. We're not looking at Ninja.
From the OG.
Oh, you're not looking at it. All right, never mind. So no, the new Nurse Chapel. So all right, so Strange New World has Nurse Chapel, Leon Noonan Singh.
No, Strange New World is not. It's not a fair thing because Strange New World is going to have a lot of talent because it's new. They're thinking about that.
Have a lot more talent.
I mean, everybody's. I mean, you got number 1. You got Leon, Nurse Chapel, obviously.
Ironically enough, it's weird because you would think Voyager or you're talking about being woke and being DEIS, whatever. Strange New World only has 3 male main characters. Technically 4. But on the bridge crew, it's just Spock and Pike. And now, occasionally, Kirk. But if it's not Kirk, then it's Pike, Spock, and Wesley. All the other main characters are all female.
But they might have learned their lesson from Discovery. They might have learned their lesson, like, you know what, having all these ugly people, you know, represent these different things, it ain't appealing. There's no appeal to it. Like, be as woke as you want. Put some hot people in there. You'll still get some audience. But if you're woke with a bunch of uglies, like dude, Discovery.
This is crazy. So I'm tracking, like I have it all saved in like history. It went from having 6 male on the bridge and 2 females to being 2 males on the bridge and everyone else on the bridge is female.
What, in Strange New Worlds?
Yeah. And that's all the way from TNG up.
Well, because you have Pike, right, who's, you know, people are going to consider Anson Mount, who's Pike, you know, a good-looking dude. Kind of like that William Shatner of Young. And so they're going to need good-looking women around him. I think whoever came up with the casting for Strange New Worlds had more of an OG mentality.
Right.
Let's get good-looking people in there.
Because even Enterprise being the last one, it is mainly all males and only 2 females, which is T'Pol and Hoshi.
Yeah.
That's it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I want to see if I can see this. Oh, my good Lord. Hello.
But yeah, right now, so Strange New World versus the OG. Man, the OG, though. God damn, for its time.
Yeah.
It was basically like watching porn back then. Like
the Green Girl?
You're watching, like, back then, watching Star Trek as a kid, watching the OG, that would be almost like having a subscription to Playboy back then, because that's all you got.
That's because you couldn't see what was underneath the skirts.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was just a pair of bloomers.
Well, that's where imagination was at work.
This is true. Wow,
Playboy is tastefully done. Playboy is tastefully done. And
does Playboy still exist?
I don't know. But then you got Hustler, where it just doesn't leave anything for the imagination.
Next week's episode, PVG breaks down a comparison of all nudie magazines.
This is what I'm told.
Man.
That's what I'm told.
No wonder. No wonder.
What?
She falls under the, who was the chick that turned out that was in John Wick? That also played Batgirl?
Halle Berry.
No.
Oh.
No hair.
Who?
She was on Orange is the New Black as well.
Crazy Eyes?
No. Let's see.
Do you mind if I sit back a little bit? Because your breath is very bad. It really is.
Was it Batgirl or was it Gotham?
Oh, Rose something?
Yes.
That's not Crazy Eyes?
Rose. No, she is Ruby Rose. So before
Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose to me looked gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
But then she cut her hair.
She, even with her cut hair, it was still good looking. But her, and if Ruby Rose or Jess Bush could have a baby, the world would end. Because they are both of the same nature. But they both look great with short hair. But so, yeah, her name is Jess Bush. She's from Australia, Queensland.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Nurse Chapel now.
Yes, Nurse Chapel, yes. Awesome, great looking pictures. But yeah, she's along with Ruby Rose in that category.
You know, I thought I gave myself homework, which was to watch The Final Frontier, maybe, but I didn't get around to it.
Holy shit, she's older than me.
Who? Crazy
Jen
Eyes?
Riley, Rebecca Romaine. I knew she was kind of older because I was like, how is Mystique playing in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Because Rebecca Romaine was the original Mystique from the original X-Men movies.
That's right.
But then she was also in the Librarians and something else. I was like, maybe it's a I don't know.
She used to be a big time. I mean, she used to be a big time actress. That's why I was kind of surprised that she's doing these like sci-fi TV shows.
Isn't she married to John Stamos?
I think she was at some point.
I think she was at one point. Yeah, so she did X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men, all the X-Men ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a big nerd girl.
But she was like a supermodel back in the day.
I mean, she could still model now, but I did not know she did all this voiceover work for all these cartoons as well, like DC cartoons and Marvel cartoons and
I did not know that.
and whatnot. Yeah, so her IMDb goes pretty far back.
Yeah.
Oh shit, she was in the New Kids on the Block. She was the video girl number 1.
Oh, girl
For the
number
Please
one.
Don't,
I remember that.
Please Don't Go Girl by New Kids on the Block. And this is Casey Kasem coming in at his Sunday's Top 40.
All right, so I don't know if I'm still going to try to commit to watching The Final Frontier. Maybe I will. I'm going to try it again. So I missed out. I got a 0 on that assignment of watching The Final Frontier. I did sleep through a showing of it when I was watching the Undiscovered Country. No, not, what was the one? The Voyage Home. So I was watching The Voyage Home. I fell asleep watching The Voyage Home, and when I woke up, it was the ending of The Final Frontier because Paramount just let it all play. And then I went back and I watched The Voyage Home completely, and then I didn't watch The Final Frontier, so I still need to watch The Final Frontier, and that's the one with is it Spock's brother?
Hold on, I'm in my Paramount now to see where I'm at.
And now, that's another problem I have with Discovery is forcing of Michael Burnham to be Spock's pseudo brother or sister or whatever. Like an adopted. What do you even call that relationship? I think it's all just too forced and
Foster
fake.
sister.
Foster sister.
And for people not to know, like,
But Spock's not a foster. Yeah, I guess she's the foster sister.
She's the foster child. So that aspect of it kind of, I'm not gonna say it hit home with me, but it touched home. So being a military family, we would do that a lot. Like a lot of people would get deployed or their parents would be sent TDY that my dad knew. And so I would literally come home and there's literally the last time, there were 3 girls at the house. I'm like, oh, okay, well, don't go in my room. And they're like, no, this is now
3 girls
room.
for what?
Because their dad knew my dad and they were friends and he got deployed to Korea. And he didn't want to take he didn't want to take the kids with him.
The Korean kids?
No, they're black children. His daughters. So he got TDY'd to Korea.
And they live with you?
And they lived with us for 2 years. Because he didn't want to give up custody to his wife.
But they weren't Korean kids.
No. He was. What part of sent TDY from Fort Huachuca to Korea? And he didn't want to take it. Says, where did the Korea kids come in?
But I'm still okay. So how are you tying this into Burnham's parents were killed
because
of something Leland did?
Wait, what is Spock's last name? Do you just call them the Spocks?
It's like Cher.
Spock Jones. I don't know.
Jones.
Spock Jones.
Spock is Spock. Sarek is Sarek, and then it's Amanda Grayson. So, what do you call them as a family unit? The Spocks, the Sareks. What the fuck is their last name?
Wow, never thought of
The Johnsons.
that.
So anyway, so when the Spock's parents brought in the girls, I was like, hey, our family did that same kind of thing. But the next one for you, Tom, you're actually going backwards. If you already watched Undiscovered Country, you are ahead. So
But I watched Voyage Home and Undiscovered Country, but not Final Frontier.
So the Final Frontier is in between.
Yeah.
That's Star Trek V.
That's the plug
yes.
I need to fill.
That
Gotta
is the
fill that
crew of the
void.
Enterprise. It's called to Nimbus 3, the planet of intergalactic peace. They negotiate in case of a kidnapping only out of something. Yeah, the page won't load.
All right. I'm going to watch that.
That's the one with his brother. But that series I was talking about, they would go back there because nobody ever talks about that. The edge of the galaxy. No one ever talks about going back there.
The Great Barrier.
Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow.
No, why? I was gonna say, why don't you watch it? How would you guys feel about doing starting an hour early? We watch the latest episode of Strange New Worlds together, and then we talk about it on
What
the
are you talking
podcast
about? When it releases, right? When season 3 comes out?
Yeah, when season 3 releases.
But we don't know what nights they're going to air, though.
And thus is where the next aspect would be. Would you want to rewatch a series, kind of like what we're doing now, but instead of us kind of hopping around, we start an hour early, watch the episode. Obviously, no one would be able to see us. We'd just do it through Ninja. And we would talk about it on the podcast there directly after.
I mean, we could make that homework and try that.
So that would mean a no, you don't want to watch it right before the show with everybody else as a group.
I'm for it. And then note it on the YouTube channel, for the viewers to also look at it.
Just to say, we're going to react to season 2, episode 1, Strange New Worlds.
You would put that up on the whatever the thumbnail is for the coming soon. I don't know how early you have the reminder for YouTube to put out when we're about to go live, but you could put like an hour. The coming up. Hey, we react to this episode or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's up to y'all. I mean, like I said, it's just an idea, because I kind of got it from watching that other podcast where they were talking about. She had 4 main things that she went over of the episode, and she went over those, and then she opened up for a group discussion. Obviously, she has a lot more views than we have, and interacted, and then went on to the next subject. So I thought that was really a cool kind of format to do something like that. Or, just do it as it is. Try and do homework and make sure, the dog doesn't eat your homework. Because who has watched the animated series yet?
I have not. I have not watched any Lower Decks or the original or the
How
OG.
many episodes are there of the animated?
Let's see. This is the thing that I hate about Paramount Plus. If you click on it, it takes you right to the episode.
I've never watched a single animated episode.
So this would be good. All 3 of us haven't.
Watching the animated? How long are they? How long is an episode? 30 minutes?
2 seasons.
Click on an episode. How long is it?
Maybe 45 minutes for commercials and stuff.
20 minutes.
Fuck. Season 1 has 16 episodes. Season 2... Oh, season 2 only has 6.
Is this the OG or?
The OG. And looks like the episodes are 25 minutes.
See?
For the first one.
All right. I mean, we can.
25 minutes.
So you're saying we watch. Are we watching it How are we going to watch it at the same time?
Ninja.
Oh, so we'll watch it on Ninja. But
Then we
we're
would go
live.
live.
The cameras are on us. And we're reacting to what's happening.
We could do it that way, or we could all just watch it together and then immediately go live into our podcast. Like, all right, so everything is fresh in our minds.
That way, when we watch it, we don't fall asleep.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, so for instance, let's say we were to do it right now. We would start. All right, hey, everybody's a ninja. We watch episode 1. It's 25 minutes. We watch it, and then we go into the podcast, and we take however long, and we discuss episode 1, season 1 of the animated series. Now, what was good, what was bad, what was cheesy, whatever. And if there's nothing to talk about, then we just go into whatever we would normally talk about.
We can try it. We can try it. I mean, we can try it starting next Sunday. Animated series. Season 1, episode 1.
The lower decks, I think lower decks are 30 minutes as well.
Lower decks, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure they're 30 minutes.
Well, let's try it with animated series, because that's something I've watched some lower decks, but I've never watched any animated series. And animated series, I guess they both count as canon. But it would probably be good to fill that gap too of the animated series. So we'll do that.
What gap?
The gap of not watching any of the animated series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that.
I mean,
think
so
lower
we'll
decks
just
are
start
30
it.
minutes
We'll
as
start 30 minutes early like we did today.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. So we'd watch it. We'd sit here and watch it.
Right.
Or we could just go live while we're watching it. I guess it don't matter, right?
Yeah, we could do that. But, I mean, that may be... So, you may run into an issue that I ran into, like, of why I kind of stopped streaming my gameplay, is if there's nothing really of importance going on, there's no talking. Unless it's us talking shit, and then people are like, well, what are they talking about? But, you know...
I mean, we could probably talk shit.
I mean...
We could
I would
probably
definitely
do
talk shit.
commentary.
Because I'm going to be like, this is one of those 2 minutes of wasted time of showing an animation of some shit that no one knows, that Netflix and everybody else had to have some interpreter come in for the visually impaired and describe what is happening, and doesn't know a phase induction coil from a spanner. And they're like, he's slowly picking up the spanner and touching it to the phase induction coil. He looks like he's hoping to do this.
All right, let's try it. All right, we'll watch the episode, then we'll go live.
Okay.
And it'll basically be we'll call it the immediate reaction series. And we'll start with animated series 1-1.
Okay.
Boom.
I will try and I just saw fuck. It is so hard. I am at season 2
Of what?
episode 7
Animated series?
of the OG.
Oh. Okay, that's probably close to where I am.
Oh, it's right before
But I didn't watch any OG this week. I only watched Enterprise and Discovery.
When did they go back to having like 16 episode seasons?
I don't think... No, because the OG has 79 episodes in 3 seasons, so nothing can be 16. That's a commitment.
I got 20 plus more episodes. It's got 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently I fell asleep watching Cat's Paw, so... Oh, shit.
That episode,
in.
yeah, it wasn't hard to fall asleep on.
What is Doomsday Machine? I don't even remember.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was pretty good.
No, wait, that's the one with Commodore...
Commodore Decker.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I watched that. Okay. Now
Yeah,
you had to
we
remind
talked
me.
about that.
They need to have better thumbnails than
Yeah.
Paramount Plus. So I know what the fuck is one.
Yeah.
Cat's Paw. Is this the one where they're in the castle or whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not ringing a bell. I'll have to go back and look.
And at the end, it turned out that the villains are little insect-looking things. It was
I don't remember that.
not the best.
Might have to check that out.
I did notice there was another episode that used the bug that got put in the ear of Sulu or Chekhov and the other dude for Khan. There was a series that mentioned them. But I'm like, how do you motherfuckers not know what that is? Like, did you not hear Kurt and everybody else and that whole bug in the ear shit? Like, why are you fucking with that?
Yeah, there was a movie all about that. I'm not thinking of what it was.
Tremors? Oh.
No.
Oh, there was another one too.
Oh, Dune. No?
I've never watched Dune. It's too slow for me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, all right. You guys had time to think about it. If Star Trek was not your go-to show for sci-fi, what would your go-to show for sci-fi be?
It's a tough one. I mean, what else is there?
The Oracle?
There's a lot.
I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
Incoming transmission.
You don't watch any other sci-fi shows?
Shows? Damn.
Oh, I know. Space 1999.
I think I just started trying to watch episodes of that.
That,
Wait, I think, no. Is it the one with the fighter jets and the Space Marines? Or is that the one on the spaceship that looks like it's a cheesy-ass DS9?
No, this is on a moon base. On the moon base Alpha.
Let me see.
I used to watch it when I was a kid, but I cannot think of anything about it right now. I actually
Space
had the toy.
99 Nope. I tried watching that shit. I fell asleep within 10 minutes.
Yeah. The ships were good looking, but the story, it was just.
But they tried, didn't they try to have hot girls on there too?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
So, Tom, there's no other. So, neither one of you have any other sci-fi shows you watch at all
Lost in Space.
within this last decade.
Damn.
Oh, shoot.
I just can't think of anything right now. It's probably because I've just flushed everything out and gone on the Star Trek binge.
So, no Stargate, no Continuum, no, none of those shows. Wow.
I never got into Stargate.
Woo! That's when you should. Did you ever watch the movie?
No.
I've never watched
Maybe
any Stargate.
I need to probably see that.
It's Star Trek without the ships. It's always an away mission. And
Except for
literally,
like a transporter.
after I think season 2, they went off air for longer than normal, like maybe a couple months, and it got picked up by Showtime. So then you got the presence of nudity and some of them, and cha-ching. And then they got brought back up by another network, and it just got funnier. Like, I picture it this way. Think of all three of us going on an away mission, right, to some world, and we're just going through a village. We're talking to people. There's characters that say the shit we would say, like the conversations we would have, like, that's why your gun's fucked up right now because you keep dragging it through the mud like that, or, you're itchy because you tried banging that alien chick on the last world we were on.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's that after like season 3 or season 4, you get that kind of comedy peppered in. Like, this is what regular folks would have said, and I see that. I'm like, this is some shit my friends would say. Like, if we're on this away mission, and then all of a sudden, like, we're under fire. We're taking cover, and somebody's throwing out just like a one-liner. that is just completely off color or just essentially calling somebody a retard, like, that wasn't your best throw of a grenade, and then it was fine when I threw it at your mom. That kind of level of shit.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I will
Definitely gets funny.
I'll give you guys some homework though. Is watch the USS Callister shows, the 2 episodes of Black Mirror. USS Callister, I think, is season 4, episode 6. And then USS Callister Into Infinity is season 7, like episode 3 or something. That just came out. That just came out like yesterday. And I watched it today, the USS Callister Into Infinity. And this guy, it's kind of like the way the Orville is, the Orville is based on Star Trek.
Right.
I was going to say
USS Callister is based on like the Star Trek theme. I mean, they're even wearing shirts that have a very close logo to Starfleet. The color patterns are all Starfleet. It's very much like Kelvin Timeline. The way they film it, like when they're walking through a corridor, like the camera's tilting sideways, and there's always like a flare in the shot. So, but USS Callister, there's like an overarching kind of plot going on. But this guy who wrote this software, this online game, he was very much into this game called Starfleet, this comic show. And it's all just nothing but like a Star Trek rework. But very interesting stuff. So try to watch that this week. And we'll do like a little recap next week too, after we do our OG animated series episode 1 reaction video, conversation, etc. I'm starting to lose my voice, but the reason we started early is because I got to wrap early, because I got to get Crewman Patty to the hospital at like 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Crewman Sherry had a comment. Did you guys start early tonight? Yes.
We did.
Oh yeah,
we did start early because we gotta depart early, but we really haven't departed very early, because if we depart now, it's normal time, because we're at 1 minute and 53 seconds on air. But we are gonna wrap, because I do got to get some Z's before the deal tomorrow, the stuff. But yeah, we'll do our homework. Everybody do your homework. Watch.
Everything goes well.
Yep. Yeah, the doctors have said everything's routine, so we're feeling like it should just be business as usual.
I will ask once we're off the air.
Off air for details.
Yes.
And those that know. Those that don't, they probably don't care. Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget, like the video by smashing the like button.
And share.
Share.
Like Crewman, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you guys next Sunday for our reaction to animated series, episode 1, season 1. Peace out, everybody.
No.
Final Frontier. Man,
yeah.
Stole your line again.
We
Check
out.
you later. That was my